Hi, I'm Kathy Lincoln, and we are coming from Artistic Artifacts, and we are going to be working with the long free arm hoop. It is one of the new hoops, and it is amazing. Let me show you the differences between the regular large oval hoop and the large free arm hoop. As you can see, that the attachment that goes on the machine is on the inner hoop, not the outer hoop as it is on your standard hoop. You can see this is the outer hoop on your standard hoop, and it has the attachment. For the long free arm, it's on the inner hoop, which allows you to not have to take things apart. You don't have to take tote bags apart. You don't have to take t-shirts apart. This will give you a large design without having to deconstruct or start from scratch because of how this is set up. This is actually the only hoop like it, and it is actually patent pending. BERNINA is getting a patent for it because no other company has this kind of hoop. So this is what we're going to work on today. This is a tote bag, and just so you can get ready for St. Patty's Day, we're going to work with shamrocks. And this is applique and embroidery, machine applique. And this is the design set. And this is the OSD designs that I'm using. And it's very, very simple. There are only four colors. Very, very simple. So I have put the design in my machine. Now it thinks it should be in the large oval hoop. Well, I'm going to tell it something else. I'm going to tell it that I want to use the long free arm. And so I have told it that I'm using the long free arm, and it has changed it. And that way, when I go to do this, it will go ahead and adjust it. Now I do need to do two things. One, I need to rotate it because I need to have it in the right position, and then I also need to reduce the size just a little bit, just so it fits in the hoop.
One second. I see a lot of folks in the comments talking about volume. Just make sure that your settings on your home computer, whatever you're watching from, those are turned up. We are pretty consistent in our settings here. But if you wouldn't mind speaking up, just
I
a
will
little
project.
bit more,
Yeah, I can be very loud, as necessary. Ask my children.
Oh boy.
So we are going to be working with a couple different stabilizers. What I am working with first is the stable stick templates. I have printed out a template. I have my applique fabric. I have printed a template out of the design, and that way I can actually place the design on my tote bag exactly where I want it without having to think about it too hard. So let me, I'm going to close that. I want to check because I thought I had already saved. Let me go back up here. Here. Okay, I thought I had already saved. No, I didn't. Okay, never mind. We're going to go back. And we're going to go back here. It's fine. However, I think I'm going to, whoops. I had reduced it to 91. I think I'm going to reduce it to 90. There we go. So it's the same size as my... Now to print your template, you just either use the free software or you use the Designer or Creator. And this just, it gets printed, it's sticky on one side, and when I want to place it, I will put it down. But the first thing I want to do is turn the bag inside out and put down my stable stick stabilizer. I'm not actually hooping up the stabilizer. I am just putting the stabilizer on the tote bag. And I'm just going to stick it down and then turn the bag right side out again. This is just cotton duck. It's your standard tote bag. You can buy them by the dozen. And then you want to just make sure that everything is nice and flat on the inside. And not stuck together like it currently is. Okay, there we go. Now this is a tear away, so when I'm done, I will tear it away. So I'm now going to put the outer ring inside the tote bag. And I'm going to put my template down. And this does two things. It helps me remember that I needed to rotate it, which I already did, but in case I hadn't rotated it, I would know that this is how I want it to look, and then I would remember to rotate the design in the machine. So then I take my inner hoop, and get it set up. Make sure it's all the way open. Yes. Okay. There we go. And okay, I have it turned, so I'm going to need to put this. Okay. There we go. We're in. I'm going to tighten it up. I do like this ratchet attachment because it makes it so much easier to attach. And I think adjust this just a little bit. Okay. You still want to push it just a hair past like you would any other hoop so that it's riding on the stabilizer and not on the hoop itself, because you don't want to etch your stainless steel. Okay. Are there questions?
We do actually have one, or a couple now are coming in. Sorry. How do you print on Stable Stick? Someone has theirs on a roll. Does it go through an inkjet printer?
It goes through an inkjet printer. These come as sheets. These are designed specifically for printing. They're already set up, it's already flat, and it's the right size to go through your printer. You're not going to want to use a laser printer, you are going to want to use an inkjet.
And as far as the straps go for the bag, do you tape or pin them to make sure that they are out of the way?
No, I'm going to show you how to put it on the machine now. So because I also want to use my absolute check, I'm going to go back to my little information eye, and I'm going to touch the check. And of course I have to do my little shimmy here. And now I can put my hoop on. So let me show you how that goes on. You always have a free arm, because without the sewing table it has a free arm. So the bottom of the bag goes underneath, the top of the bag goes on top, and you just slide it under. So you can see that it doesn't make any difference where the handles are. I put the excess of the bag underneath the arm, and it's going to want to go to the first stitch. But I want to find the center. And so I touch the center, and it goes to the center of the design, and now I'm going to move it to the center of the, because I can see where the center of the design is. Okay. And I can raise and lower my needle to make sure I'm close. Oops, I need to go back. And that's close enough. Once I get it to where I want it, then what I do is I then close out of the absolute check, and I take off my template because you don't want to stitch through that. And now I want to go to my sewing screen. And now we'll go to the first stitch, which is the placement of the first piece of fabric. Now I need to take it off because I need to place my fabric. I'm going to put my template back on its little sheet. And you can see it comes off and on quite easily. I am going to just rough cut a piece of fabric. That's going to be a little bit bigger than the placement.
We have a few more questions.
Go ahead.
Let's see here. Should we go scroll? Where are they? What size needle are you using?
I'm using a 90.
Okay.
Because I'm working on canvas. And I'm using a glue stick to just put the fabric down. And I believe all the supplies that I'm using are on, that Chris has put up on there somewhere.
Yeah, links will be dropped.
Yeah. So now I have my fabric in place. I'm going to now put it back on.
Oh, for the check that was done to bring it to the center.
Yes.
Is there another point to assure it is straight on the hoop, or is the center the best way to go?
Because I have put I could have used the hoop template to help me place it. This is not as fussy a design as some designs are, because if your shamrock is tilt a little bit, it's not a big deal. But if I wanted to be very, very precise, I would have used the template on top of the hoop as I was placing the design, and then into the hoop. Because this is not as fussy, you don't need to worry about that as much. So now the second stitch is literally the tack down, and it's just secure. Go around twice. I like this particular method of applique better than pre-cutting and fusing down, because this way I know it is fully secured and covering the spot it needs to be in. There are multiple ways of doing machine applique in your embroidery machine. This is, I think, the easiest. And so now, once again, I'm going to take it off. You can see it comes on and off quite easily. And I'm now going to trim as close to the stitches as possible. And if you, by accident, cut the outside stitches, it's not a big deal. That's why you have 2 lines of stitching. And you'll notice that I do not take it out of the hoop. Once it's in the hoop, it's in the hoop until you're done.
What is the number foot that you're using?
I'm using the number 15. Okay. It is my preferred embroidery foot. The number 26 comes with machine, and it works just fine. But I prefer the 15. I can see where I'm going better. And then I'll put it back on. Make sure that everything's where it's supposed to be. Now this is going to put down the same placement for the same color fabric. And so it's 2 different placements. Overlapping the first piece. So instead of cutting 2 pieces, what I'm going to do is just cut 1 big piece. And if it's too close, you can go to your hoop menu and you can park the arm away to make it easier to take out. And you can see I'm not worrying about size. I am just making sure that it's going to cover. And then I will put it back on. To bring it back.
quick, could we show everybody? I'm going to come over here.
Okay.
Could we show everybody again how easy that is to attach? Oh, are you stitching? That's okay.
It's okay. I have several more opportunities to show that because it really is quite easy to attach.
While it's going, we do have a couple more questions.
Let's go.
So is this new hoop style only used with the new SDT embroidery module?
No, it can be used with the older modules, and it also can be used with any of the current 5, 7, and 8 machines. They are coming out with a firmware update for the older 7s and 8s. And that will be out, well, it should be already out, but it's not. But there will be a firmware update that will allow the older machines to use this hoop.
Would you count the 830E as an older machine?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and that's one of the ones that is going to have a firmware update to allow this hoop to work on the machine.
All right, we have one more. Does that attachment fit all hoops, or just what is attached, and what are the sizes available?
What do you?
I'm not. Deborah, could we have a little bit more clarification, please? And we'll come back to you.
Because this is the only size of the long arm, the long free arm, that it comes in. It does not come in the maxi or jumbo. Anything smaller, any design smaller than this, you already have a built-in free arm, so you can use the medium and the small hoop. This just makes it so much easier.
Okay, did we answer Deborah's question with that? Perfect.
Okay.
All right, and then how will everybody be able to find out about the update? Will it be on Bernina? Will there be an announcement somewhere?
On BERNINA.com, and if you go to your machine page, under support, every machine that is currently in warranty or available, not for purchase so much, but every machine is still has its own page. Even the really old machines have its own page. So if you go to BERNINA.com, across the top you'll see there's these little tiny, there's small print, and there's the category called support. You touch on that, and then you go to your machine page, and you will be able to find out if the new firmware is there. I checked. It is not currently there yet, but it will be, I imagine, within the next month or so.
And then you can also go to your local Bernina technician, and they can do it for you as well.
Exactly, because if you're not comfortable doing the firmware update yourself, we will more than happy to do it for you.
Well, you have to be local for that.
You have to be local for us, but your own Bernina dealer, wherever you are, should be able to help you.
And for those questions about pricing, that is up to your Bernina dealer, I believe.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Okay, so let me just cut this away quickly, and then I'll show you how easy it is to put it back on. And I love these little scissors for trimming. Sorry, didn't mean to bump you. Okay.
Oh, Judy's in the comments, everybody. She says that the hoop is on sale for Bernina this month.
It is 25% off.
Yes, and you can absolutely order that off our website. Other
And
websites have it available, but
and we have it in stock.
we do have it in stock. Yes.
So there's no waiting. So let me finish this, and then I'll show you how easy it is to put on. Okay, so that's there. Now I am going to park so you can see how easy it is to park. And let me close out of there. So it is very easy. I am putting the back of the bag underneath the free arm. I am sliding everything else on top. So you can see that the bag is underneath the free arm here. It's very simple. I'm going to bring, whoops, okay, never mind. Let's bring that back up. Okay. Just hooking it back up.
Oh, that was quick.
It's very simple. It's very easy. And let me just touch that. There we go. We're ready to go to the last piece of fabric. Now, while that's stitching, let me tell you what else you can do. It used to be quite difficult to do t-shirts with a decent size for adults. And so we this makes it so much easier. You still put the hoop fastener through the neck, but you now can get a decent size design, and you can then easily make a t-shirt. You can do polo shirts. You can do all kinds of things that you could do before, but it was a little more difficult. This makes it so much easier. So this is far enough away, it's really quite simple to take off. I'll put the last piece of fabric on. And then I will talk about, once I get this going, how to work on a t-shirt.
And while you're doing that, we have some people asking about your little trimming scissors and is that glue stick?
Yes, the glue stick is a Soline glue stick. It's fabric glue. And it has refills. I refilled it last night, so I make sure I had plenty of glue. So let me just... And these little scissors, we sell these scissors, and we have them on the website. And we also sell these scissors as well. These are the Karen K. Buckleys, and I've forgotten.
Chris has dropped a link in the chat.
Thank you, Chris.
Or Sharon, one of the two.
One or the other. Okay. So I'm just putting this down, and I will put this back on the machine. You can see, even though you have to take it on and off multiple times to do the applique, it's not hard. It's quite simple.
You're really just squeezing those two pieces together?
Yep.
Is that what it is?
Yep. I make sure everything is all situated, and then I will that I'm using are Marcia Dursee's palette. They're solids, but they aren't solid. It's really quite nice.
Could you say that first part again, because the machine gets a little loud on the mic?
Yes, these fabrics are the palette, and it's Marcia Dursee's, and they're solids, but they're not solids. They have a little variation on them.
It's almost like acid wash.
Yeah, they have a little modeling, so there's more dimension. Okay, so let's talk about how we work with the t-shirt, because this uses different stabilizer. With this, I use a fusible poly mesh, and that is very soft. Let's see. This is the label to it. And even though it's a cutaway, you can trim most of it away. You can peel it back and trim it away. And because they all look alike, that's why I put my label inside the tube. It's very soft. It's kind of like a knit, but it's fusible, and you fuse it to the inside of your t-shirt where you want to put the design. Turn this inside out. So you can see that I have trimmed most of it away, and it will then, the rest of it will disintegrate over time in the washing machine. And it will get softer over time.
Could you do this on a sweatshirt?
Absolutely.
Like a hoodie, anything like that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You can customize all your ready to wear. Let's see.
Is there a video or support anywhere for adding this hoop to someone's machine hoop options? I'm not quite sure what that is.
If you have the latest firmware update, and that will be on for the newer machines, it's already available. The older machines, that firmware update will be coming out, and it will then automatically add it. That's part of the firmware update. You don't have to do anything special, just the firmware.
All right. I think we're okay. Yes, okay. You can do baseball caps as well. Any ready
yes,
to wear.
Yes, any ready to wear. For ball caps, it's really handy to use the Hoopin' Buddies hoop. That's designed specifically for ball caps. This might be this might not work as well for ball caps as the Hoopin' Buddy. That's specifically designed for ball caps. Okay, how are we doing time-wise? Let me talk about one thing here real quick. In case you haven't heard about it, we're having a Creative Minds Summit in May, I believe.
The weekend of the 12th.
Yes. So these are the people who are coming to speak, and we're going to have all kinds of fun, all kinds of techniques. All the details are on the website, and you can sign up for it at artisticartifacts.com.
All right. For those of you who don't know, we have our own Judy Gula and her friends and other associated teachers, Liz Kettle, Gwen LaFleur, Libby Williamson. These are nationally acclaimed teachers. They are celebrated authors. They're just amazing to learn from and take classes with. So we highly recommend, coming out, make a weekend out of it. Come visit that obscure relative, kids, grandkids. Just come, weather's going to be warming up here in Northern Virginia. Perfect time to come visit.
Yes, it's very pretty. All the flowers are blooming.
Mm-hmm. I think we're all good. We do have to open the store. It is almost 10 after.
Oh, I ran late. I'm sorry. Anyhow, I hope you have fun with this new hoop. I hope you enjoy it, and just create.